after Hake. And the American Anchor Baby happening after that. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. It is Monday. Everybody loves Mondays, right? Do you not love Mondays? May 13th, AD 2024. Belated Happy Mother's Day, guys. I have several streams to get out to you. Venice Beach, Pier at dusk or something, twilight. GMR, Glendora Mountain Road, and of course, a visit to San Onofre. So some beach streams maybe coming up this week. I didn't put it out yesterday or on Saturday like I had thought to maybe do. But we're gonna have a fun loosey goosey the Hake report today. I had Omar, third rail Omar, on Friday. Had a lot of calls and super chats to get to. I want to talk about the gay agenda that they're pushing. It's pretty shameful. It's disgusting. It's nothing new, really. And it's a disservice, of course. And same too with the communist agenda, which is part of the same thing, really. Or a bigger thing that's the same thing, you know? The communist agenda, you know, minimum wage, social security, evil things like that that never should have been put in place. And the American people have had to make do the best that they can. Some thrived in spite of these evil things. In spite of these evil things that they've done. And you can always thrive in whatever evil world the world is doing. So there's always a way. Okay, so anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm wearing my 1916 Centennial Communist Propaganda t-shirt, National Parks. Was that communism or was that the based guy, the good Roosevelt? Was he the good Roosevelt or the evil? I think he was the good Roosevelt. Was Teddy Roosevelt the guy who did the national parks, or was it some dumb evil communist? Or was he communist for Christ? I don't know. But I guess it kind of depends on who's in charge. But yeah, it has a bison. Is this a bison or a buffalo? And which one went extinct because we shot them all? Or did they actually even go extinct? I don't think either of them are really extinct. But nice. I think bison look awesome. So REI from a communist co-op outlet. REI, all these outdoorsy stores are evil. I don't want to abuse the C word, communist, but they are. This is a co-op, but that's voluntary communism. No wonder they're failing, because there's one in Santa Monica, where I got this shirt. Actually, there's not one in Santa Monica. It shut down. It shut down. And you know why I bet it did shut down? Crime, shoplifting, looting. It got looted. It got set on fire, I think. Windows busted out during the 2020 insurrection against white Americans. And then against police, of course, too. Killed a whole bunch of normal, decent Americans. 2, The messed up economy. California, elsewhere, minimum wage, evil things. Just ridiculous. So you get what you deserve, REI. Recreational equipment in something. Communist Hake. Communist for Christ. No, it's terrible. It's terrible. You know, I know about that because the American Anchor Baby was over there live streaming the events, the looting of Santa Monica, 3rd Street Promenade and all that. Yeah, REI, North Face, Carhartt, whatever that is. I heard about them after the vax or something. Commie capitalism. So wrong. Your volume is scuffed, Hake, says Tar Baby Yoda. Is that true? How's my volume? Is it low? I think it's a touch low, if anything. Testing, test. When I shout into it, it's fine, but I don't know. I don't know, maybe Tar Baby Yoda's is scuffed. Press 1 if my volume's great. Press 2 if it's too loud and buzzing and blown out. Press 3 if it's a touch quiet. Low, says Tar Baby Yoda. I kind of believe you. Thank you, Tar Baby Yoda. He does look out for me. He never lies. All right, guys. Let me start off, speaking of communism, let's start off with a call, shall we? Because Hake is of the people. And the communist himself, Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. How are you doing, Joe? It's good to hear from you, I hope.
Good morning, Jay. Let's see if we can get along today. It was Teddy Roosevelt who expanded and created a lot of national parks.
And so that can, now when you nationalize a park, that means that you're kind of taking control over it. Like it's sort of a land grab.
It's under the National Park Service, yeah.
And the idea is like to preserve the place so that everybody can go and enjoy it.
That's the idea, yeah.
Yeah.
And we have bison here in North America, not buffalo.
I thought so. That's what I thought I remembered learning as a kid.
You can tell the difference between buffalo and bison. Bison have the big fat hump near their shoulders. Buffaloes don't.
Oh yeah, they have like that awesome, like you said, hump or behind their head. It like makes them look tougher and awesome.
That's right.
Obama increased the number of national parks, right? Didn't he do a bunch of land grabs? Speaking of communism.
Actually, that's one Obama fact that I'm not very familiar with. I'd have to look into that.
Yeah. And I'm sure that you'll go in, look into it, and report back to me, yes, he did, and then you'll explain it away with some mitigating thing to make him seem like he was doing a good thing.
Okay, I don't want to fight with you today, James.
Okay.
I called in about the 1%. Did you see the recent study that says that currently in America, the 1% of Americans, 1%, James, own more wealth and control more wealth than the entire middle class of Americans now?
No, I hadn't seen that report. I am not surprised. Is that a bad thing or a good thing or indifferent?
Oh, I think it's a very bad thing because, again, as we talk about, it's the have versus the have-nots. And as we've discussed, the haves and the powerful, they create the laws. They have the power and the influence to shape this country going forward. And having it in the hands of so few people, that much power and control over the rest of Americans is a very bad thing. You look at the French Revolution, you look at the Russian Revolution, we have history to show us that's a very, very bad thing.
And the French and Russian Revolution, the Russian Revolution, was that the Communist Revolution?
There was a Communist Revolution.
But you weren't specifically referring to that one? No,
just what I was referring to is that when the majority of the wealth is in very few hands, that's what leads to violence and explosions and wars and revolutions, absolutely.
And I don't know if it leads to it, but it's exploited by evil people, envy, greed, anger, maliciousness. I get that it's the circumstances in which these things happen a lot. I don't think that it leads to it necessarily, because if I'm content and living my life and minding my business and I'm doing just fine, I don't have to compare myself to the 1% or anybody else.
That's interesting. Have you heard the phrase "let them eat cake"?
I have heard of that. Is that kind of like bread and circuses? Give
No,
them
that's different. That's bread and circuses is Romans to keep that those small folks distracted and entertained while the rich will rob them blind.
and
But
fed
let
enough.
them eat.
Yeah, let them eat cake is what?
Is Marie Antoinette. She was so, she was part of the 1% in France there, and she was so disconnected from how the average person lives and their circumstances and their hardships. When she was told that, there's a bread shortage and the people were upset, she said, well, if they don't have bread, let them eat cake.
Nice.
That's how clueless she was. And go ahead.
And what was your point about that? Go ahead and finish.
So the point is that I was kind of reinforcing that when the 1% are so clueless and so powerful, that does lead to revolution, because hers was one of the first heads that were chopped off in the French Revolution.
Wow, that's terrible. Do you disavow the French Revolution?
Disavow? No, I don't think I do, actually.
Really? But it's not justified to be chopping off people's heads just for being rich and being in the positions of power. Or am I wrong?
Well, we can agree that violence is never the answer. But I'll give an example here. If you go to the computer, go to the Fertility Institutes, plural. You will see on the front page now that eye color, any parent can choose the eye color now of their unborn child and their gender.
You can choose
and their height. Yeah, Fertility Institutes, plural. It's actually there in L.A.
When you say any parent, you're talking about a parent who has the money to pay this institute to finagle a child.
Exactly.
Not any parent. What's your point about that?
Well, my point is that I've been telling you for a while, I know you don't really care about investing in stocks and all that, but I've been tracking the advances in technology around genetic editing and the opportunities that are arising on that, and it's just a matter of time. Very quickly, I can see it's already eye color is a choice, height is a choice, gender is a choice, proclivity for sports, intelligence, strength, and very soon it's going to be skin color and hair color and everything else.
Talk about
simply be a choice for the haves. Designer babies are on the way. That train is already on the track and coming quick.
Talk about vanity. Am I right?
Yeah, you and I can actually agree that that's troublesome to some degree. Because, eugenics is something that came out of the Third Reich and other evil people. So, and
yeah,
that's
I think that
what that is.
I think people shouldn't. I was thinking about there was a caller on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. I might still be a little lower, or maybe he's a little high there, Hassan. I'm not sure. Somebody said "speak up, boy" in my chat. But anyway,
okay.
They're referring to my volumes. It has nothing to do with you specifically. But I was listening to a caller on the Jesse Lee Peterson show today who talked about she and her husband decided to let God decide the size of their family. So they had, eight children or whatever. For 20 years, she was either pregnant or nursing for 20 straight years. And that is, I like that way. In that you're just living and not planning. There's this organization, as you know, called Planned Parenthood. That itself is sort of playing God. You should just live a moral life. Don't be having this sex out of marriage, and
we can agree on that.
And just focus on being like, I don't know, just be moral or whatever, and then your life will work out. And you'll probably have some challenges. You'll have some babies that turn out all messed up, or maybe you die in childbirth, but you live a.
I guess my point is, Hake, is that that 1% that's already controlling so much of the wealth. We'll wait until that happens, and designer babies are a real thing, and it's coming quick. Oh my goodness, that gap's going to get even more big. I mean, even huger.
Oh,
And
because they're going to have their designer babies who are superhuman, basically.
Faster, stronger, smarter, more talented. Absolutely. And the day is coming when you're going to see a Hispanic couple or an Asian couple or a black couple walking with a blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby. And that baby will be their genetic child.
Isn't it true that under a culture dominated by a mindset of, as you said, haves versus have-nots, that has only really increased the exacerbated issues because people are focusing on envy, people are focusing on selfishness. We have like a culture of selfishness in which the so-called haves or the powers that be are pretending like they care about the immigrants or pretending like they care about women. And so they give them stuff and keep them angry, and that hamstrings them. It hamstrings their ability to thrive in life because they're focused on vain things rather than living their life and working and being responsible. So, of course, this is going to increase the problems. We had the China virus overreaction. That increased the problems with the economy. Before that, we were starting to do well, right? Weren't we doing pretty well under Trump before this China virus?
The economy was doing very well during the Trump years before coronavirus. That's a fact, yeah.
And he knew that that he could, like, don't we all want the same thing? He would react to the Black Lives Matter protesters at his rally. And he said, don't we all want the same thing? A good job, a good life, safe homes and family. I think I could talk with these people, but some people you can't talk to because they're not reasonable.
That's for sure.
And so I think that if we have moral people in office, then all people might thrive and the gap might be big, but at least people are able to get along in life.
I don't know about that. I think
because look at this. Let me tell you why I say that, and then you make your point. I remember seeing this clip from the woman who was in charge in the UK during Reagan's administration. She was the Reagan of that country.
Margaret Thatcher?
Yeah. And there was this, I guess, socialist guy who was like, surely you can't be happy that the gap between the rich and poor is increased under your administration. And she said, well, everybody has increased in their wealth. But yeah, the less wealthy have increased by less, but the ultra wealthy, or what if you will, have increased by more, but everybody's doing better. And she said, basically what you're suggesting is it's fine that the poor are extra poor so long as they're not too much poorer than the rich, which doesn't make she's basically criticizing this socialist for saying something that doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? You follow what I'm saying?
I think I understand what you're saying. You're talking about trickle-down economics.
Well, I don't know what that is exactly, but basically, all boats rise. Basically, like a booming economy, all boats rise.
A rising tide lifts all boats, is what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about, what's trickle-down economics, since you brought it up?
Basically, you just described it with the rising tide lifts all boats.
So
basically, yeah, without getting too much into the detail.
Let the makers, let the people who are creating wealth and creating value in the world, if you will pardon my use of the term creating, let them keep more of their money, and they know how to do with it better than the government does?
Correct.
Yeah. What do you say to that?
That's been studied a lot by various economists. Some agree with it, some don't. I'm kind of on the fence. I think there's some truth to it and some not quite accurate things to it. But I've been around the one percenters. I can't say I'm a one percenter myself, but I'm getting there. But in my opinion, the one percenters, they're more like Marie Antoinette. Let them eat cake. They just don't care. and they're just clueless about how most people live.
You don't really believe that it's haves versus have-nots, do you?
Oh, I know it for a fact.
But
I see it.
But don't you?
During my time in Congress, James, oh my goodness, you see it every single day.
When you say in Congress, you worked with people in Congress. You weren't a congressman.
Correct. I was not a congressman, but I've been on multiple committees, spent more times than I should have in Congress in D.C.
But you're a Christian. Don't you believe in right versus wrong? And the the haves can be for what's right, and the have-nots can be for so-called have-nots can be for what's right, and the haves can be for what's evil, and the have-nots can be for what's evil. And there's devils on many sides, and very fine people on many sides.
We can agree with most of that, yeah.
So when you become a 1%er, are you going to be the enemy?
That's not in me.
So are you a
person who does good in the world?
Are you
evil?
Are you a have or a have-not?
I think most people would describe me as a have if they saw my balance sheet.
Yeah. So you're against us.
I would say that I'm not a 1%er, though. I'm not,
Once you become a 1%er, you're going to be against us, or you're going to be a mama who cares for the little people.
Those are two awful choices there, James.
I know.
I'll say that I'll be a person who is, as I always have been, someone who's following Christ and doing the right thing for myself, my family, and my community. I'll say that.
All right.
Now, I think here's where, real quick, here's where we're going to argue. Google the name or search the name John Shadbar? Yeah, I think that's what it was. He's a recent hate crime shooter in Illinois. This is what you asked me last week if I hated Himmler. And I said, no, I pity him. And you said, well, that's hate. And I said, okay, well, that's the mindset that I will always fight against. And that's the mindset that leads to this John Shadbar? Shadbar. There you go.
Okay.
This guy is shooting up his next door neighbor, shouting the N-word, die N-word, N-word lover, blah, 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 blah. And he shot her, and she's in critical conditions now because she was, married to a black man and had, biracial children.
Okay.
And that's the mindset that leads to that violence. So that's why I speak against him. That's why I will always stand up to that. Now, I'm not scared of that because, the Himmlers of the world can never afford to live in my gated community. And if someone ever stepped on my property with a gun, they'd find out very quickly that I am heavily armed myself, and they wouldn't make it 2 feet. So I'm not scared of that, but that's what that mentality leads to, James.
I say that anger leads to violence, not necessarily any particular mentality. Now, anger can lead to like a wrong ideology, because every ideology, some ideologies are evil, and then some are just fine as long as you're not angry or whatever. Because but I think that there should be room for whites to be for the whites. And I think there should be room for people to be allowed to be against interracial marriage and stuff like that. Because this is America, for one. As long as you're not...
Sorry, James, you said to be for the whites, but you said you shouldn't be into your whiteness. Is that not correct?
You shouldn't be, but you have a basic right to be. It's like this is America. You shouldn't be trying to impose, don't be into your race. Because who are you to say that they're into their race in the wrong way, Because people are white or for their whole life on Earth, or people are black for their whole life on Earth. And so the race issue matters as long as we're on Earth in a physical, normal, social interaction way. It factors into how people think and how people are.
This is where I'm actually somewhat for the genetic editing, because in the very, very near future, people like, with the Himmler mindset, they won't be able to tell. Wait a minute, you have pale skin, blue eyes, and blonde hair, but, that person could be Asian or Hispanic or even black. So they're going to have a really hard time understanding who to hate, and that will be good to see.
People are always going to hate no matter what. And people who hate, I argue, they don't have God's love at all for anybody. So I think that this cherry picking about hating based on race is silly. It's a boogeyman, and you're creating a monster by fear mongering about it. You know, you're creating the monster that you're fear mongering about. Like it wouldn't
Well, I
be
know we
such a big
disagree,
deal.
but I mean, if you look at the Human Genome Project, that I don't think you're familiar with, but there's no race. It's just silly. All it is a surface appearance. People see skin color, hair color, eye color, and they think, oh, well, you're XYZ race. When it's absolutely not. If you look at
You can claim that.
great
Go ahead.
science. No, it's just reality, Jim. It's just based on DNA level. That's what reality is.
If it's DNA level, then it's more than just skin color and hair color and eyes and stuff. It's also how people. It's more than that. It's a lot more than that. And then it's an undeniable reality that different peoples come out with different cultures and different ways of being and stuff like that. And those different cultures...
That is very easily disproved in a million different ways.
No, it's not. It's people see it...
Because they're good and decent and kind and hardworking people of every physical appearance.
I know that, but we're talking about...
There are the dirtbags in every physical appearance as well.
You're reading into what I'm saying then, because you're arguing against something...
Ahead.
Because I never said that there aren't very fine people on every in every culture, but blacks tend to be some way, whites tend to be some way, different types of whites tend to be some way.
That's where you go off the rails.
That's not off the rails. Tend to.
And that's just not true, James. It's just not true.
It's what we see in reality. True. Stereotypes come from either a lie or a fact, some facts or facts, right?
Stereotypes are the hallmark of the very simple-minded. That's what they
know,
are.
but stereotypes come from either a fair reputation earned by the way that people act, or a caricature put upon them by people who are vicious and lying, and trying to focus on the wrong thing.
You wouldn't want to be judged by the Hells Angels culture, would you?
I don't think so. I heard that they were very antisocial.
Well, they're criminals.
Right, and that's what antisocial used to mean. But I forget what we were talking about.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just,
I want to say one thing. I have a conspiracy theory about what may be going on deep inside your heart, whether you realize it or not. And I don't know that
about my heart.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
And so it's a conspiracy theory among demons, the demons. So it's like the demons inside you and the demons inside Mark are like a tag team to take down my show. Like you have this thing where you're warning me about these anti-terrorism speech bill, HR 350. In the
domestic terror.
Yeah, domestic terror.
In general, domestic terror.
Right.
Go ahead.
And then so that demon keeps on saying, I'm warning you, Hake, I'm warning you. But secretly, the demon inside of you wants that to happen. And so you know how I say that people lick their chops when there's a mass shooting, especially a white terrorist, domestic terrorist type of shooting? They love it when that happens so they can go after the guns and go after the whites. The mainstream media.
That's just sick and stupid.
It's sick and stupid that I think that they're licking their chops and they want that?
No, that if a person would actually do that, then that person has serious problems.
The person who would do the shooting, or a person who would want that to happen?
I know you don't believe me. I know you don't believe me, but the reason why, I keep saying, please watch that element just for us special. That really is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to empathize. I'm trying to reach you. Because I don't want to just sit in a room with people who agree with me all the time. But that is not how this world gets better.
Let's say
why I spend time and to work with you is because I do see good in you, and I really, really don't want you ending up in court.
Let's say that somebody ignores the stuff that I say about don't be mad, and the stuff that JLP says about don't be angry, about forgive, but they only focus on the criticisms that we have for blacks or whatever.
Go
And
ahead.
so they do some attack on the blacks. Would you end up going to court being like, I tried to warn Hake, but since I warned him, now he's responsible for this person's action?
I'm not sure what you're asking. Are you saying,
Would you
would
go
I
to
feel-
court to
would you go
testify
into
against
court?
me because you warned me that this was going to happen?
No, I would not go to court and testify against you. First of all, I wouldn't even be eligible to be called as a witness against you.
Why not?
Because the opposing team of lawyers would say, well, this is a long-term caller, Your Honor. This is a person who said he supports the show and did not want to see him in court. So this particular witness is unreliable.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe, in Phoenix, Arizona. That's my conspiracy theory is that you want that thing to happen, and you're listening to the devil and living in fear. Just as you accuse Mark of living in fear, you too live in fear because we say stuff about the black community, the so-called black community, and so you want some listener to go crazy and do some evil thing. Not you, but the demons
No.
in you, the demons that possess you, secretly
I
wants that to
disagree
happen.
with that. I disagree with that, James, wholeheartedly. But the John Shadhar, I can't get this guy's name, John Shadfor.
Yeah.
I think those people are triggered and encouraged by the Himmlers of the world. And again, I don't have to fear anything. I've set myself in a position to where I don't have to fear those type of people.
Well, then
But
how
they're
come
out
you
there,
say stuff like,
and I'm aware of it.
how come you say stuff like, Jesse Lee Peterson makes it more dangerous for me because people could profile me as one of the evil people? You said stuff like that, have you not?
I've said that, yeah.
Do you disavow it now?
Well, I mean, look at what happened with the people who were at that Country Thunder concert and that idiot in the hotel randomly firing. Because, and, we don't know his motives, but that could have been John Shadhar shooting up a jazz concert that I happened to be at. That's what I'm talking about.
I know, but that has nothing to do with what JLP and Hake preach about.
Well, again, I'll separate you from JLP.
That has nothing to do with what JLP preaches about. He's far more a man of peace and love than I am.
No, we disagree with that. He just said on one of his most recent Friday shows that he believes most, not just some, James, but most black people commit crimes. And that's just objectively, easily, laughably proven false.
But you're being racist because he's black. He
I'm
doesn't
being what?
know you're being racist. I'm trolling a little bit, but listen to this. He's black. He doesn't know math. He doesn't understand proportion and what most means and stuff like that. He's basically saying they do it the most. He's basically saying they do it the most, and you're nitpicking.
Are you saying that he doesn't understand because he's black?
Yeah. I mean, he's black. Well, he's black and slow. He doesn't necessarily know. When he's saying most, maybe he knows something that you and I don't. Or, because a whole lot of people commit crimes and get away with it. And
You're saying
people
a whole lot here.
And people commit spiritual crimes too. And the women, he knows about the mothers more than you and I, because he's been counseling for 30 years, thousands and thousands of people. But it could mean the most. They do it the most, and you're never going to get through to a black about math.
Even that is true. Even that is true, James. So again, I mean, it's not true. I mean,
well,
again,
per capita, they do it the
you and
most.
I are not. Nope, not even that.
Yeah,
Nope.
huh? Per capita?
Nuh-uh.
Now your black is coming through because you don't understand per capita, or do you?
We're talking about 1.05% that we're talking about violent crime.
I know, but we're talking about per capita. That means per head or per 100 or whatever, or per 100,000. They have the bigger number per 100,000 of their fellow blacks doing the crime, doing those crimes.
This is the same thing we're talking about in terms we've been talking about for years in terms of you're not including white-collar crimes either.
No, we're talking about violent crimes.
Okay, so violent crimes.
And
again.
even if you count white-collar crimes, I bet you it's still basically you're changing the subject and denying reality.
No, crime is crime.
Yeah, and you're being black because you don't you're being in denial. That's terrible. That's okay. I understand it.
Well, you can believe what you want to believe. It's wrong and it's sick and it's vapid and it's empty, but you believe what you want to.
Yeah, well then don't be bashing JLP for just being black and slow and truthful and honest.
We can agree that he's slow and stupid, but no, he is not.
I didn't say
about
stupid, I
anything.
said truthful.
No,
I
heard
got to
stupid,
run, man.
but
Nice talking with you.
what it is. You too. Have a good day.
All right, bye. I'm laughing because I'm going to Mark in Los Angeles, California. How are you doing, Mark?
Real good, Hake. I thought the coward wanted to debate me, but I guess not. Maybe another time.
Oh, okay.
I called because I called about black on white crime, but if you give me you gave him 30 minutes.
I did.
If you give me 10, I'll be happy.
I'll do my best to give you what I can. I do it as the Spirit leads, and I'm not saying that it's the Holy Spirit that leads me, but I'm doing it as the Spirit leads. So I don't give people equal. You won't get equality from Hake, but you'll get my best. Go ahead.
That's okay. First of all, I'll get to the black crime thing in a minute. When he said about the haves and have-nots, that's the talk communists use.
Right.
They want to take from the wealthy and spread it.
And you know what?
And then he went on. No, wait a minute. He went on to say that you asked him if he was part of the 1%.
Right.
He said no. He's playing both sides.
Yep.
You asked him if he was a have or a have-not. He said he's working his way to be a have, and then he would be his own enemy. I mean, the guy is contradictory on everything he says. He said I think it was on Friday, that I was a punk and a coward, but that he had sympathy for me. Do you see the hypocrisy in that statement? In that statement alone, he's a liar. When he talked about Obama's regulations that he cut more than any other president, outright lie. Trump cut more regulations than anybody or any other president in history, and Obama put more regulations on than any politician or president in history. He deceives you, and you fall for his evil.
No,
I'm not blaming you.
Wait. I didn't. Where did he deceive me? Because I didn't. Okay, there's been times where he says stuff that I just accept at face value, and then later it turns out not to be true. But
that's exception.
But when
not
he said
on
that
on his end.
Yeah, when he says stuff about Obama cut regulations, I'm like, what? I mean, there must be some factual thing that he's referencing to deceive us, with which to deceive us, or maybe he's deceived himself. I tend to think that when he says stuff, I'm such a sucker that I believe that people believe what they're saying.
Well, I mean, but you got him in a sense, but I don't think you realized it. When you asked him, was he a have or a have-not, he favors the have-nots, but he's striving to be a have.
You know, he is a have.
You see the hypocrisy right there?
He said most people would believe I am a have, but he understands he's not like Marie Antoinette, who doesn't know what the have-nots are going through.
Yeah, that's what frauds do. They play both sides.
Yeah. You know, the reason when I started to cut in the first time, communism is what we already have in America, and that's why the system is failing. You know, the economy is failing.
Well, okay, to a point I agree.
Yeah.
But if we truly had communism, there wouldn't even be a 1%. Okay, they would all their money would be confiscated and it'd be given to the so-called have-nots.
Oh, right.
And we would have a dictatorship like he wants, although he won't admit it.
Yeah.
And what really bothers me in your conversation with this guy, he worked in Congress. Now you see why things are screwed up in D.C.
Snakes.
I don't know if he worked for Maxine Waters or one of those evil people.
He had to work with that. He's from Arizona. He said he worked with that, and he hated John McCain.
Why him? They're both singing off the same sheet. They're both. Well, McCain was he wasn't a war hero. He was a POW, but POWs are not war heroes. Like Trump said,
I'm with you.
His heroes don't get captured. I don't know what this guy's beef with McCain was, but they're of the same ilk. Even
they're establishment. They're establishment, which is against the people.
And then I heard him say on Friday about he wanted to debate me on the 10 million deportation plan by President Trump. It can. He said, logistics won't allow it. He's a fraud and a fool. He wants them here. He wants them here. He doesn't want it to work. He needs their votes. Not for him. He's not running for office. But his party, the Communist Party, they need those votes. So, and by the way, it can happen here. we can deport 10 million. In the 50s, and I don't want to get your show in trouble. I just got to tell you what the program was called. Operation Wetback.
Yeah.
That was what it was called. And they did, I don't know how many they deported, but it worked. And the fact is, once you start deporting, the others will, many of the others, not all, but many of the others will voluntarily get out of here.
Right, because they don't want to live in that type of, that's impractical, of course.
Where they're going to be brought to justice. Now, what I wanted to get to, the reason for the call today,
let me just cut in to comment on all the stuff that you said. One thing I noticed about you, about Joe, about anybody who's angry or holds a grudge is, you know how in the Bible it says love keeps no record of wrongs? But you have this whole record of stuff that they did, that he's said and that I've said and that I've done and that he's done, and he has records of what you've said and what I've said and what Jesse's said. And you guys remember stuff that I don't even remember, but you guys remember it because you harbor this resentment about it, and that's not love.
Well, let me say this. I don't want your show to be taken off, or Jesse. He wants all you guys gone, and he thinks he's going to be able to use me to get that done, but he's not. But
you know,
he favors censorship. He favors censorship like a true communist. They hate the truth. They can't handle it. And unfortunately, I guess it's the YouTube people. If I say anything, even if I'm not conscious of the words I'm using, they could ban you. So I have to watch everything I'm saying already. But if we had free speech, it wouldn't be that way.
I would love to be able to have true free speech so that you could say what you say, and then you and I can hash out what you mean by it. Because you say a phrase that you maybe have to disavow for the sake of my channel, and we're not able to discuss what you mean by it because it's and then so he will assign something that you mean by it. He wants another Holocaust or whatever. And I'm like, but he didn't even really believe that the first one actually happened the way that they claim that it happened. And he said, that's your excuse? And so, like, and so we're not able to hash things out in the open. So I'm with you on the free speech thing. But I think that I have a conspiracy theory that there's like a demon in you that just can't help but spit this vitriol, because you definitely have vitriol toward these demons, these scum, these people, these savages. You have vitriol. You speak with such vitriol and passion that you can't help but speak anger and hell. And these evil people gloat in an angry white man expressing himself in not the most loving way.
What they don't like is to be exposed.
But they love. They don't like that.
Want to shut us down.
But they love it when you speak in a way that can get us in trouble. They love that.
That's why I have to watch what I say. Yeah. Unfortunately, because we have criminals and communists who listen in, and the first thing they're going to do is try to get your show banned on kind of me, when I go out of my way to watch what I say. But
I know.
When you
even then, you still slip up sometimes when because you're so emotional. You won't be able to control yourself, and you'll say something. And he also said that you said something a long time ago when you guys first debated, and I don't even remember what you said. I barely even remember hanging up on you, but he remembers it.
Yeah, well, I do too. What it was he was trying to be insultive, like his nature has him be, and he tried to cut me off in the middle of my statement, and I told him to kiss my butt.
Oh, yeah, okay.
but I didn't say butt, and that's when you cut me off, which is fine.
Yeah.
But, I've heard the F-bomb on your show
I know.
before.
I let things slide a lot, but when it's uncharacteristic, when you go...
to say kiss my butt is not as bad as the F-bomb.
Yeah, you're right. It's very mild compared to that.
Show,
But some of these callers, they're younger. They cuss all the time. They're not seasoned callers. You've been a caller for a long time, so when that type of thing slips, I know that you're not in your right mind. When another caller cusses with the F word or whatever, and they're just a millennial who cuss all the time, they're not necessarily being out of control. They just don't realize they need to control themselves. So I cut them a little slack.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's your show.
You're never going to get
and
equal treatment. All right.
I think, I don't think profanity is covered by the First Amendment.
Right.
So that's all good. Threats are not covered by the First Amendment, and I've never threatened anyone.
Yeah.
Except he is actually, and you had one clown from Baltimore that threatened me, and then you had this guy
Steven.
calling me a punk.
No, Steven, I clarified that with Steven, and he said he would just talk with you. And he's 87 years old. I don't know. I don't think it was probably kind of meant to be a threat, but he claims, you know how these blacks are. They know how to play innocent.
Low IQ.
He said he would just talk with you. I just talk with him.
I don't want to talk with him. What do I want to talk with him for? Basically, these people revert to violence when they can't win the argument.
Yeah,
okay.
Or they report you to the government.
Can I finish something here? The words punk, the word punk and the word coward are fighting words. Okay, he said he has sympathy for me. Again, a lie. And he is so easy to catch in a lie, and it goes right over your head. Now,
but I can't just catch every little thing. I mean, anyway, go ahead.
No, that's okay. No, you do a great job. No criticism. You're dealing with Satan, so it's easy to be tricked. I was. But the reason I called is because you guys, one of the reasons in your conversation talked about they're going to be able to change the DNA where Asians and Hispanics can have blonde-haired, blue-eyed babies. Well, here's the thing about that. He thinks it's a good thing. I'm indifferent on the issue. But all that's going to mean is those blonde-haired, blue-eyed babies are going to have a target on their back by the black crime wave, which is infecting America today. I wanted to talk about a specific case in New York. He talked about some guy in Illinois that shot his neighbor. Yeah. Nobody ever heard about it. Nobody cares except him because he's using it as an excuse to silence me. Yeah. But in New York, what they're doing now, or at least one guy, savage, is going around with a belt and choking white women from behind, taking them behind cars and raping them.
I heard about that incident.
Yeah, of course. And this guy hasn't been caught yet. And they got his mug.
Are you sure?
They saw the nasty mug of his, so they know who he is. And
Sean says that he is caught.
Assaulted. Pardon?
Sean says he has been caught. The producer of the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Good.
I hope they execute him.
Well,
that's not a threat.
If it's a capital, if it's a capital crime, I mean, it was an R word allegedly. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, in the olden days, I don't even want to say it because I got to worry about what I'm saying due to the communist influence in this country. But the black crime wave in New York is way out of hand. They're assaulting white women with sucker punches, the cowards that they are. They're attacking our women. They're attacking our men. The sucker punch game is still going on. I've never heard that communist that your co-host that you just had on for a quarter of your show. I have never heard him denounce black crime. Never.
Oh yeah, he does. He claims
he wants to point to some guy in Illinois that had enough, and I'm not condoning what he did. Okay, condoning what he did, and then commits a crime, and he wants to focus on that. That's about 0.01% of the crime in America. It's 22.2 per 100,000 Negroes murdered. It's 2.2 of white people who murder. So that's a stat he can't deny. I wish you would have brought it up, but of course he would have denied it anyway because that's his nature. But it's obvious to me, and it should be to you, Hake, he's trying to get you and JLP canceled. And when he reverts to me and drags me into the conversation as if he's doing you a favor by trying to get me banned, that shows how these commies think. Blame the other guy for what you're guilty of. That's what they're doing to Trump, and that's what this clown would like to do to me.
That's why we have to be...
I read the comments section. There's a few dummies, knuckleheads in the, what do you call it, the comment section. I call it the, I have a name for it. I can't think of it now. The peanut gallery. Yeah. There's a couple of peanut brains in the peanut gallery that support this bozo. But reading the comments, it sounds like they know him for what he is. And that's a good thing. He's exposed. And if I help with your audience to expose this demon, then I feel that I've done my job.
Yeah, according to TMZ and the New York Post, Sean has this story. The suspect who did that, who kind of lassoed that woman, that 45-year-old woman, I heard about it on American Anchor Baby. I saw it on X, Twitter. The suspect is in police custody thanks to the man's mother. He was an unemployed, married father of 2, has been struggling with drinking and drug issues. Struggling. In recent weeks since learning his father died last month, according to his mom. The suspect, his wife, and their daughter had been living in North Carolina, where they were staying with the wife's parents, but recently moved back to New York. Wow, I wonder if the wife's going to stay with him after that alleged R-word incident. But yeah, it's a mess. People are evil. But what you brought up, with this, with how they want to try to use you to ban us and stuff like that, and get you banned. That's why in this evil world, you have to be blameless before people, and do your best to get along with everyone. But you're not trying at all to get along with Joe, your fellow Christian.
Well, well, he lies so much. How do you know he's a Christian? I mean, he could say that. He can give it lip service, but I'm not doubting it. If he calls himself a Christian, good for him.
Yeah.
But I've seen how black Christians are. I've seen Martin Luther King. If that's an example of a Christian, and he's the best they got.
Martin Luther King was an atheist. At 12 years old, according to Chad O. Jackson of Uncle Tom 2. Have you seen the Uncle Tom movies? Uncle Tom Part 2?
No.
Uncle Tom Part 2 you might actually like somewhat. So just FYI.
What's that, a documentary?
Yeah, it's a documentary. UncleTom.com. Look at the second one. The second one has JLP in it and some others. Part 3 is going to be... Yeah, Larry Elder published it, or he's behind. Okay. He's the executive producer. But it's not too bad. I mean, it might not teach you anything because you know so much about this communism stuff. But
exactly. But I wanted to say that for your audience's benefit, if they want to see the truth about who Martin Luther King was, because they have a holiday for him, read the book "And the Walls Came Tumbling Down" by one of his lieutenants, Abernathy. He said on the night he was shot, he was with 2 prostitutes that night, and he had a perverted sexual life where he always wanted 2 prostitutes at a time, and 1 black, 1 white, because he believed in integration. That's his view of that was his view of integration. The FBI still won't give the total background on their investigation into King because they had to agree with Coretta Scott King not to do that because it would have really exposed him for who he was. And hopefully, President Trump said he was going to release all that. Unfortunately, he didn't. And hopefully, if he wins re-election, he will, so the whole world can see who we've provided a holiday for.
I know that Trump didn't release the JFK records because of, he said that he told Judge Napolitano, I think, about the JFK assassination. If you saw what I saw, you wouldn't release it either. So I don't know. But what did you think about Omar reading that verse to you about many who call Jesus Lord, Lord, but do not do what he says? He'll say, I never knew you.
I'm not worried about it. I'm going to let God judge me on Judgment Day.
Why don't you let God
judge me today?
Then why don't you let God judge these demon-possessed people? Rather than you judging them.
I'm going to. I can't. I mean, there's nothing I can do to them.
I know, but you're judging them. But in your heart, you are judging them.
Well, when I see a Negro put a belt around a white woman and drag her behind 2 cars and sexually assault her, I think I could justify saying he's a demon. Okay? I don't think I need to have God second it.
He's possessed by a demon, but if you're just being factual, that's different. But in your heart, you're hating these people.
Well, I hate black on white crime.
I know, but let's say Mark from let's say Joe from Phoenix. He hasn't necessarily, that we know of, done any black on white crime, and
no, I didn't say that he did. But he's trying to censor you, and to me, that's a crime in itself.
Yeah, but that's fine. But that's not a reason for you to despise him in your heart.
Oh, well, I'm not going to say that I hate him or that I love him. All I'm going to say is I'll let God judge these evil people.
All right.
Because,
Do you want to talk
because
briefly
if I
with?
say anything,
Do you want to talk briefly with Kentucky John?
yeah, put him on.
All right, John in Kentucky, you are live with Hake and Mark in Los Angeles. Go ahead.
Yeah.
John in Kentucky, can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
There you are. Now I can.
Hello?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I just want to ask Mark while he was still on the phone why he's so miserable and cranky and angry. He calls
Well, when
in
I
every
see
day
your people
the same old
attacking my
stuff.
people, I get that way. When I see black on white crime out of control, yeah, it ticks me off. Sorry.
But you've seen it for enough time to realize, okay, this is the evil world we live in. You don't have to be angry about it anymore.
Oh, Lord.
Am I going to accept it?
No,
Am I going to say, yeah, go ahead, I'm all
not
good
go
with it?
ahead,
No,
but
no.
there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it.
Do you feel the same way about any other crime, whites versus blacks or whites versus Hispanics?
Migrant crime. No, migrant crime. The 10 million illegals that have invaded our country, and you guys, you Negroes, are going to be the ones most affected by it, by the way.
They already are.
Or they already are.
Yep.
But migrant crime is only second to you guys. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I ain't going to be complaining about it because what's going to be is what's going to be. And I feel like I can take care of myself in any situation. So I just don't understand why you get on this phone every day turning red every time you're talking about Joe. I just don't get it. It's
Somebody's
every
making
day.
noise.
Huh?
I think Mark in Los Angeles, are you out in the wind or something?
Who, me?
Yeah, I'm getting noise.
I can barely hear you, Hank.
Okay.
I can hear everybody. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, man, I just want to know why it's becoming the Joe and Mark show. Y'all going back and forth every single day.
I'll make a pledge right here to never respond to him or bring up his name again. If that'll make you happy, I'll do it because I don't really like the guy.
I don't care.
Well, you
I
brought
don't
it
care,
up.
but
The reason I keep them on is because they both profess to be Christians, and they're both angry, judgmental, hate-filled people, and I like talking about that stuff and hashing it out with my fellow Christian men.
Why don't any of your other white listeners call in and speak their mind? Because I feel like you have a lot of people that agree with Mark the way he looks at things, and I'd like to hear them talk.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Well, wait a minute. I want to ask him a question. A couple of weeks ago, I heard you say when you called into Hake that I was your favorite caller.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
After that one call, I can't remember what call it was, but after that one call, yeah. Mark, he calls in. Say again?
I say I appreciate that.
But not really, man. I really don't care for you.
Caller, then I appreciate that.
But I really don't care for you too much. I was just saying that at the time. Man, I had something else I had to say.
Okay, so you're a liar, but go ahead. So am I your favorite caller, yes or no?
No, hell no.
Whoa.
Well, then why'd you say
hell no.
Why'd you say
I think he thinks it's sort of refreshing to hear an angry white man speak his mind. An angry, racist white man speak his mind. He likes that, but the rest of it, he doesn't like it.
You said there's no
I don't believe it. Hey, I
Well,
don't believe it. I just like to hear it.
He thinks it's racism. I'm saying what John in Kentucky, he believes in racism.
Yeah. That's
He
right.
also said that I was his favorite caller, and now he's taking it back.
You also say you were white too.
I'm 100% white.
I'm talking about your skin color.
Right. Oh, that's a ridiculous, stupid thing to say.
I got you 2 times with that.
Racial reality check. I did my ancestry test, 100% white. What's you?
Last question from me. Mark, what would you like to see Hake talk about, or what approach would you like to see Hake take? Because I feel like you want him to be more racist like you.
Well, first of all, he says
true?
racism doesn't exist. So if he believes that, well, I don't know. I think the majority of racism is on you people against us. So that's racism, in my view. And you can't deny it. Black on white crime is an epidemic proportions now. I think you know it, and you probably sit back, rub your hands in glee, and say, I'm glad
No.
it's revenge.
No, man. See, that's the thing. See, that's the thing, Mark. You don't know how black people feel. And we don't want crime to happen to anybody.
I see it in action on the street. What about the black guy that put a belt around the white woman's neck and sexually assaulted her? Is he a brother?
Is
he somebody that they're going to
was he white?
on a jury?
Was he proven to be black and she proven to be white?
Had the picture of him. They showed him right on TV.
He looked sort of maybe like black Hispanic though, and she maybe been Hispanic, maybe white Hispanic.
One drop, Hake. One drop. You know the rule, Hake.
Yeah,
you know the racist rule.
One drop. But this guy looked like he had more than one drop in him.
I'm getting a nasty noise from one of you guys.
It's not me.
Okay. All right.
But dang man.
But you don't. Just as we don't know how black people feel, blacks don't know how white people feel. You make assumptions about us, John.
Go ahead.
Y'all have sprung up many of black people. You don't feel the same when that happens. But when one white person gets sprung up,
maybe that's what they should have got. I'm not advocating violence. I'm not advocating crime, criminal activity. But those people that were lynched, and we're going back over 100 years ago.
I know, and those were for crimes.
Innocent black people just walking down the street.
Right.
Oh yes, you have before. In Texas, the last time that guy that got drugged by the car, I forgot his name. But they pulled his head off.
A black guy got dragged by a car. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
By whites. Yes.
That's happened. Okay. That's happened.
So one incident, and then one incident, but every year blacks kill more than twice as many whites year after year. But you don't hear about it, so you don't realize that it's happening.
13% of the population.
I know.
Only 13%. Imagine
that's the
if they were
out of control. Use.
It's not the only stat. There's stat after stat after stat after stat. And it's not just stats. It's living in reality. Go to the ghetto where the blacks are. You don't want to be there. Go to the white area. It's safer.
Haven't y'all learned from Joe that it's only the 1% of the 13%?
He's a liar.
Haven't y'all learned that?
No, not necessarily. And 1% is extremely high, John, in Kentucky. That's out of control. And on top of it, you guys are so angry, you'll take the side of those people against us.
But listen, Hake. 1% though. If you're out in your daily life and you look around and you're walking past black people, 1% of those black people you see, that's not very many.
It's enough. That's enough to be concerned.
But it's repeat criminals, and we don't enjoy hearing about that either, man.
I know, but then you bandwagon as if white on black racism is this big problem, and it's not.
No, they did cheer for OJ Simpson. They were cheering for that murdering snake. He killed two
OJ.
OJ Simpson. And they were cheering for him.
No, that's true. That's true, and that was wrong too.
Right.
That was wrong too.
That's why I'm your favorite caller. But can I ask you a question, John?
We got to wrap it up. We got to wrap it up in 1 minute.
Let me say something about OJ real quick. Can I say something about OJ?
Yes.
I heard that somebody confessed to that murder, though.
I don't know. I don't know. I think that everybody who's who is respectable believes that OJ did it. So I go with it. I go with them, and I like OJ. I like OJ. He was funny on Twitter.
It's y'all's justice system.
Okay, but it was corrupt.
No, it was blacks in the. It was black. It was a mostly. I think it was 8 blacks and 6 black females on the jury. You kidding me? That's not a white justice system.
Yeah, one of them.
It's about time you had the shoe on the other foot.
No, but this is you act like whites were so unjust towards blacks.
Look at Mark.
Blacks
are so easily triggered.
Blacks are so much more unjust toward whites than whites ever were towards blacks. I think. I could be wrong.
Okay,
Mark, what was your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, my question to you: would you rather be a white person lost in a Negro? No.
Right.
Would you rather be a white person in a black neighborhood lost, or a Negro in a white section lost and get help? Where would you feel safer? Pardon?
Who would be safer? Not who would you rather
Listen.
be? Because nobody would rather be anything other than who they are. I think.
A white
If I
person in a
can-
black section lost, or a black and a white section lost? Which one has a
If I
safer thing? Go ahead.
If I can answer honestly, I grew up in a pretty bad neighborhood. So when I go to places like that, I don't feel the same way you would feel. But if I have to raise my kids,
If you had to raise your
That's
kids,
not an
go ahead
answer.
and finish.
if I had to raise my kids, it would be in a nice neighborhood. I wouldn't call it white or black or whatever. It'd be a nice neighborhood. It wouldn't be in the hood.
That means
Did
white.
you answer the question?
All right.
It wouldn't be in the hood. Put it
Great.
like that. It wouldn't be in the hood.
Great talking with you guys. I got to run. This noise is
All right,
unbearable.
Mark the white man.
Caller. Thanks, John.
Thank you,
God
Mark.
bless.
All right, see
Take
you,
care.
white man.
Bye. All right, John in Kentucky. Appreciate you, man. Take care.
All right, man.
Bye. Guys, we're past the top of the hour. I feel like I want to play some music. Let's calm down. It is LN Monday, and then I will get to your calls, guys, and your super chats. This track is entitled "And the Angels." It's from the 2002 album Novel. I hope you enjoy it, you musical Philistines. Be right back for the rest of hour 2. Hang tight.
I crossed that line some time ago, and the angels danced on your tongue the minute that you sung your song. Just 2 days out from the Bible, we found out. Blue on blue, the sky goes on for miles. And we're running low on cigarettes and Joes. This half tank of gas won't get us very far. Just 2 days out of the Bible, we found hell.
Isn't this a nice vibe?
This motel room smells of sex and the angels danced on your tongue
Gary Murray.
the minute that you took the pills.
Is this folk?
Just 2 days out of the Bible, we found
I'm in a Tarantino movie.
I crossed that line some time ago, and the angel danced on your tongue the minute that you sung your song.
Well, thank you guys for bearing with me through the beautiful music, arguably beautiful. Off yourself music. I disavow that. Donnie Girl's idea gave a Rumble rant, and I think that was on the Hake report on, boy, what was that, Wednesday? Last Wednesday? And I didn't read it on Thursday or Friday, apparently. You can't fill the bank before the vault is finished being built. Keep going and the followers will come. Nice. Thank you, Donnie Girl's idea. I missed the super chats on Friday. I was so busy with Omar. Jaime from Minnesota bought 11 coffees. Whoosh, whoosh. Very generous. Saying tar baby hat. I guess that's because, did I win the bet after all? I thought I lost the bet. So I'm like, hey, give your info, and then we'll have to send you the tar baby hat. But now maybe I won the bet. Are the Romani people from Romania or not? He said they were. I'll bet you anything. Or I'll bet you. I'm like, okay, I'll bet you. I'm not supposed to bet, kids. We're Christians. But thank you, man. Appreciate that. That's a lot simpler for me. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Jaime in Minnesota. Terry bought a coffee. James 1, verse 26. If anyone among you, thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, deceives his own heart, this one's religion is useless. That's right. Tame the tongue. It is a dangerous spark that can spark a whole wildfire. Watch your tongue. Tame the tongue. Bridle your tongue. Nice. You can't bless the Lord and curse your fellow man. The world. Thank you, Terry. Former communist, by the way. There were a couple of more Rumble rants that I did see come in. Oh, by the way, Canadian David at the Rumble rant says, I would allow Mark to say the N-bomb to help fight racism. Nice. I know, we should allow people to say the N-word. By we, I'm talking about we as a society, not we on the Hake report. Not allowed on the Hake report. You have to say Nga. Joe sounds like a backdoor version of those celebrating the browning of America. Interesting statement, Canadian David. Thanks for the support, man. Granola Cobain. Popcorn's Thump Keg donated a coffee. A coffee just means super chat. Side note, you're calling Joe childish while simultaneously holding the snake puppet in your hand while he talks. He's pretty rich. Yeah, did I call him childish today, too? Hake, it's the haves versus the have-nots. Let's see if we can have a nice call today. I don't feel like fighting today. And Coulter said that she wouldn't vote for Vivek because he was of Indian descent. She didn't say of Indian descent because you're an Indian. That's what she said. I heard it on American Anchor, baby. She said that for the presidency, it should be someone of WASP heritage, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant heritage, meaning English or German American, I guess, right? Something like that. I know you disagree with that requirement because you said that if Jesse ran for president, you would vote for him. I don't disagree with that requirement, though. I don't disagree with it. Just because I would vote for Jesse, and I just say that I would vote. If is living in the imagination, honestly. So I don't see JLP running for president. I'm not going to vote for a black. Number one, because race doesn't matter, so we should go all white. Because whites, above anybody else, treat all the other races fairly. They have a track record of at least the white normal Christian American men who are normal. I'm not talking about the kiss-up politicians. They're degenerates. But even though those people are too fair, not a good kind of fair. But anyway, I'm interrupting his super chat, or her, or its, if it's an AI super chat. If you want to say he has the best interest for them, that's a different argument. Or if you want to say something like white on the inside again, that's a different argument. White on the inside means he's pure of heart. Means he's washed white as snow, free from sin, hate, anger, evil, viciousness, fear. Or if you want to say something blah, 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 not what the W in WASP stands for. Vivek calmly dismantled her when he challenged her on why she feels the way she did, and she just spit out a word salad. It was basically like, I just want it. Even ABL did a segment calling her out on it, and he rarely calls things racist, but he did this time. Well, I actually agree with Ann Coulter because it is a slap in the face for England to be having this India guy, or whatever that guy is, in charge of England. Like, it's this slap in your face, and there is this vicious push towards, representation. In other words, they believe that only this race can represent their fellow people of that race, when in reality, a man of honor, a white man of honor, like our greatest president, Trump, can represent the interests of the people, which is the best thing for all of the races. So it should be all white. My administration is going to be all 100% white men, and ideally older and rich white men, because it'll be like an in-your-face to the dumb, lame, shallow diversity suckers who think, oh, it should look like me, it should look like the people. No. We are American. It is if you're not American if you hate white people. And that's what you people who think that Ann Coulter is wrong for that, or think that it's racist and wrong. If you want to call it racist, but racist and fine, then fine, if you think that racism exists. But yeah, I like ABL, who likes JLP and all that, but I'm not surprised that he thinks that way. And Vivek, the other reason why I wouldn't vote for him is because he strikes me as a fast talker, phony guy, a pick-me. He doesn't strike me as genuine. And on top of that, he's not even Christian. So not only is he doesn't even have the white man's religion. If he loves white people, that's nice. I'll give him, he should be press secretary, maybe. But no, that's in the administration, so he can just be a surrogate. A surrogate meaning a talking head who defends us, my white administration. And I'll be like, hey, nice, thanks. But I don't trust you because you're a snake. Vivek, the snake. Yeah, so please, I don't disagree with her. I agree with her. That is a major issue, replacing the whites. If they can push diversity and anti-whiteness and be, I'm going to select a black woman Supreme Court, I'm going to select all white men on my administration, and all white men are going to be all my appointments. Nice. Because it doesn't matter. Because race doesn't matter. And it's a very white thought to think race doesn't matter. Only the whites say that. Or the communists. So, boom. But Joe is childish. I forget, did I call him childish today? Nice, thank you, Popcorn's Thump Keg. Yeah, it should be a Protestant. The problem we have is we've brought in Catholics who care for the poor, and they care for the illegals, and they kiss up to the Hispanics because a lot of Hispanics are Catholics. And then they have a problem with the Jews that the normal Protestant people don't really have this problem with the Jews. Everything was fine until we let the Catholics and the Jews come in and take over. What a mess. And the other people, even worse, atheists and all that. So, yeah, it should be Protestants, normal Christians. Normal for America. And shout out to the Catholics. There's some decent ones. There's some decent ones in the chat, I guess, if there is such a thing. You know, Vincent James and Fuentes Shapiro, 2024. What do you say? Maybe not Shapiro. Yeah, maybe not Shapiro. He's too angry. Fuentes and maybe Jaden will let an Irish. Is Jaden? Maybe he and Jaden will like each other again by that point. By the time they're of age to run for president and vice president. Right on, Popcorn's Thump Cake. Yeah. No, she might be dancing a little bit because you're not allowed to love white people. You have to pretend to hate white people or pretend to be, whatever. Yeah, Vivek has a salesman vibe. Exactly, Lisa, over the Facebook crew. Exactly. Yeah, so these supposedly calm, rational POCs, I don't trust them. I do shout them out, though. I do still like him, just not for that. Thank you again, Popcorn's Thump Cake. CRISHAUN the Dawn is out of Florida here on the line. What's up, CRISHAUN the Dawn? How are you doing?
What's up, Hake? How are you, man?
I'm doing fine. It's good to hear from you.
It's good to hear from you, too. I wanted to get on with Mark, but, you had to hang up on him. But I won't be too long because I can't talk to him. I don't like talking about people behind their back.
Okay.
But I think his problem is, and why he's so angry, is because he's identifying with race in the same way that black people did. And that's what I've talked about you with before on your show, that you're identifying with something that's not a real thing. It's not a real culture. There's no real anything behind it. And I think a lot of right-wingers and white people have fallen for that, where they've convinced you, just like they've convinced black people, that you're this thing that isn't real, and then they made that thing the enemy. You get what I'm saying? That's why when liberals now say white people this, white people that, I don't even get offended anymore, because it's like, it's not a thing. It's not real. And that's where I think that Mark is falling for that, identifying with something that was made up by the liberals.
So like they accuse you of holding this position, and so in rebellion against them, you start to hold that position, whereas in the past, you didn't even hold that position. It wasn't even...
Well, it's just like, it's much like Crips and Bloods. You're just defending a color at some point, and you don't even know what it is anymore. There's Crips and Bloods that are killing each other. They don't even know why they're killing each other. And it's the same exact mentality. We've just taken this color and we defend that color no matter what.
But this, like, okay, so one thing that I can say, you kind of remind me of the argument with the gays. Were they born that way, or did they choose to be gay? And so you set up this false dichotomy, this false dilemma. Were they born that way, or did they choose it? Well, neither. You don't choose your vices, and you're not born with your vices. You develop them. Maybe you have...
Yeah, but you're not... So you're not born white. You're born a human. You're not born black. You're born a human. So it's like you would have to define, just like black people had to define, what is whiteness? What is blackness? Like, black people haven't, after 60-something years, they haven't been able to define what blackness actually is. And white people are going to have the same problem doing the same thing. I was debating with somebody in your chat, and he's taking up whiteness, and there's white people in your chat, white right-wingers from America defending him, and he goes, oh, well, I'm a French-Canadian. And I'm like, dude, nobody likes French-Canadians. Even white people don't like French-Canadians. It's like you're all connecting with a color, but it's all different cultures that that's why a lot of the points don't even like each other.
That's why it would have to be Anglos, Anglo, normal Christian, non-Catholic for president, white man.
I mean, yeah.
So that's
but
a little
that's
bit
the
more.
Thing is
but
do we
there
want,
are
do
real
we want
things.
white all?
There are real
I'm sorry.
things.
Hey, can I just say this? Do
Yeah.
we want white men, or do we want men with good merit, good values, good morals? Because here's the thing: if you're gonna defend whiteness and you're gonna all kind of unite behind whiteness, that means you're gonna have to unite with a lot of liberals. There's a lot of liberals that identify as white. So is the right-wingers that are defending whiteness, are they also defending white liberals?
Not
I think
necessarily.
we need to understand that the liberals don't want to destroy whiteness. They want to destroy conservatism. They want to destroy traditionalism and Christianity.
And men.
It's as simple as that.
But the whites per capita are the Christians, the conservatives, the men who, the family people, the family men. So that's why they're going after. That's partly why they're going after the whites, because the whites are the ones who are standing in the way of their communist self-destruction, and that part is real. The stuff that Mark says about civilization, like you're gonna run into a more civilized society in the white Jews area, of Israel versus Yemen, he said last week, or the white neighborhoods are nicer. You're right that a lot of whites are getting angry and identifying with race in a way that's not
my
wise.
point is, Hake, though, my point is that, yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. I agree with you. I've said that a million times. But that's because white people haven't taken up victimhood for the past 200, 300, 400 years. And you're going to see that change, though. You're going to see white neighborhoods change, and you're going to see them get worse. You're going to see, because there's a lot of white people now with this mentality of, I'm not going to go out and look for a job because they're not hiring white men.
Right.
So eventually that's going to turn into, well, I'm going to start selling drugs. I'm going to start robbing people. That's what happens. It happened with white cultures in the past.
We might have.
What do you think the mafia was?
I think we'll still have a little bit higher IQ of crime and degeneracy. You know how like Jewish people, very victim-minded right now, but they are they're in a different situation from the blacks. So their destruction is fear and alienating other people and abusing power and stuff like that, or abusing worldly power, whereas the blacks is like violence and crime and riots. I mean, the Jews are rioting too, but you know what I mean? Different people are going to come up. Yeah, the whites are going to self-destruct as we fall into anger, but it's going to look different from everybody's symptoms of the sin are going to look a little bit different per each race.
A little bit different, but regardless, it's going down a bad
path. It's still hell.
And the thing is that it deteriorates more and more, and it doesn't take very long. Like, it didn't take very long for the black community to deteriorate to where it is now. So, I mean, that's all I'm saying is that it's headed down a bad path, and I think white people could stop it right now. But I think it's going to take that kind of realization. It's very interesting when Ann Coulter says she's not going to vote for Vivek based on him being Indian. Like, I'm not offended by that. That's fine. That's her right.
Right.
But my thing is, I wouldn't have voted for Vivek either, but it was more because I didn't like his like you were saying, he seemed like a fast talker. He didn't seem like he was telling the truth most of the time. He just wanted to tell us what we wanted to hear.
Yep. Yeah.
And he's had big ideas that I didn't think he would be able to pull off.
True. He is a billionaire, so he must have something. He must have some abilities, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that Trump is the man for the job, obviously. Anyway, interesting. Yeah. I agree with you in that Mark is hurting himself and with that anger, and it's not good. And a lot of people.
Well, it's also, let me just say this
really,
one last thing, Hake. It's also hypocrisy because he's so angry at black people for doing the same exact thing that he's doing right now.
What's
and,
that?
you know, at some point, it's like Mark is at the point where he's going to be like, let's start a White Lives Matter. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's that victimized. And I'd love to talk to Mark one day. I'm not, like I said, I don't like talking about people when they're not around. So
One thing that everybody who's looking down on him is as evil as he is, because he's out and obvious with his hatred, but other people are self-righteous and quiet with their hatred.
Right.
So anyway,
that's one thing I like about Mark, though. He's out there with it, because that's how I am.
Nice.
So I respect it.
Appreciate you, man. Next time I'll put you on with him.
Yes, please.
All right. Take care.
All right, Hake. Well, I always like talking to you, man. I'll talk to you later. Misfit Nation, follow me, guys.
Nice. Take care, man.
Later.
Bye. He was a guest on the Hake Report 2, 3 times, 4 times. Art in Ohio on the line. How you doing, Art? Appreciate you calling and holding. What's up?
Ain't no little Indian man driving this American car.
That's right. We don't vote Vivek. We vote Trump.
but not even that. I look. They call me racist, man. Call me stuck on a plantation, which I know I ain't. But I don't want no little Indian man or any other ethnicity besides a black Aboriginal American or a Negro Aboriginal American that's running for president or whatnot. It just shows you how far America's done fallen.
Yeah.
To where we have to go and search outside instead of on home turf.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. There are plenty of white American highly qualified men, or at least there's like one for whom we can vote.
Yeah.
And like, I would mostly not vote for a black because they push it so much. It would feel like it's kissing up. It's just like that evil diversity stuff. But every now and then there might be one, like Clarence Thomas, you know, a solid man.
Byron Donalds.
Yeah, you might be right about him. I'm not sure.
And I don't agree with everything he say, but I'm just saying as far as how he carries himself, he's well-mannered, well-spoken, and he know how to stick to the facts.
Yeah. Right on.
Yep, but something that I called in about, and your last caller, he said with the whites need to get it together before it's too late or whatnot. And I agree, whites do need to get it together before it's too far gone, right along with the Negroes in America. But I figure and think that that's going to be very hard for them to do if they thinking that gangbangers is fighting each other just over colors. That's the reason why they at odds and over war is just over red and blue. Now, if you think that that's what gangbangers is fighting for and having shootouts and having territory wars, then Artie Art got Sleepy Creepy Joe in the passenger seat of his Dodge Hellcat Charger, and we about to go have some applesauce for dinner here. You see what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. Like, they are fighting over revenge, money, stuff like that. I get you. The Hatfields and McCoys, there was a feud between the Hatfields and the McCoys, but pretty soon they forgot what originally started it. What originally started the feud between the Bloods and the Crips. Probably nobody even remembers what the original beef was, but it's just kind of been endless revenge. Short term.
Yep, you right.
Yeah.
No, then one more thing that I was you was talking to Mark or whatnot, and I think that I like Mark. It's only times a couple times I don't disagree with him or whatnot, but otherwise I like Mark. I think that more whites need to be like him or whatnot. He's just speaking his mind or whatnot, and it ain't really. I don't see really nothing wrong with it or whatnot. I truth be told, I think more whites need to be just like him or whatnot, and a lot of stuff that's going on right now in society wouldn't be going on if they was as out forward and out front about a lot of stuff, just along with the Negroes or whatnot too. And you know, with this culture, you seen how it was with the vaccine nonsense, or even with the Trump stuff. The left had the the conservatives so scared. They were scared even to say to their family members and people they work with, did they like Trump? So you see how they do with that.
Yeah.
They have you scared of your own shadow, where you don't want to speak up for what you know what's right, because you don't want to be an outcast and a lone sheep out there by yourself. So you just willing to agree just because you don't want to be the one that's out there standing for what's righteous.
That makes a lot of sense. It's a big
Yep,
mess.
and then something else that I find it awfully funny or whatnot, that all these same people that go out here on YouTube, they were supporting this Black Lives Matter stuff or whatnot, but you don't hear when all the stuff comes out that how bad that the Black Lives Matter was and how they were scamming the black community. These same people that were supporting them, they don't never come out and tell you like, hey, I'm sorry to my people that was following me on YouTube that I was supporting these people or whatnot, and the same energy they was putting in to support them, it should be the same energy they put in to bring them down and expose their scam in the black community and the failure to the American people in their own community. And
you're talking about. You remind me of the notion of these rallies, Black Lives Matter rallies and stuff like that. A rally doesn't do anything to fight evil, really, for the most part. Yeah, maybe there's somebody who has a nice conversation that awakens somebody at a rally. But a rally is not going to stop. It's not going to make the families get back together and the fathers lead the mothers and children in the right way. That's not going to stop. Like we say, oh, these Black Lives Matter rallies. What about the rallies against black crime? A rally is not going to stop black crime. It's going to take them becoming moral and working and being a family and returning to God, not some dumb rally protest. You know what I mean?
Rallies ain't nothing but the seasoning on the mashed potato and gravy. That ain't nothing but the salt and pepper. It's way more to the dish than that.
Yep. True.
And just piggybacking off of what I was just saying when I'm using that analogy about the BLM or whatnot.
Yeah.
I switched to go back to OJ Simpson or whatnot. The same people that's putting all this energy into saying that OJ did this and OJ did that. Yeah, they don't seem to take in accountability, or not even accountability. Just to take in the simple fact that I might be wrong. He might not have did it, especially when hearing the fact that the Snow Queen, and no disrespect, I'm being sarcastically funny, so I'm not sneak dissing the dead. I'm not trying to talk bad on the dead person or whatnot. But what's her name? Nicole Simpson hired a serial killer. But I don't hear the same people that was talking about OJ did it. They don't take in the simple fact that maybe that the serial killer that she hired that was killing people across America, that was killing people that looked just like her, might have actually happened to kill her.
Is that
true?
What I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
I want to hear from Terry about this, because Terry knows about this case. Terry, who's called the Anchor Baby and Hake before. I don't know. That's funny you call it.
No, I mean, and I just find that hard to figure out or whatnot too. And
I don't really care what the truth is, because they're both dead and gone now. Like, it's a moot point. But and even when OJ was still alive, I didn't really care. But it seemed like all the people who, to this day, who seem to know they seem to know that he did it. So I just go with that. I lean towards that. So because even like Josh from Georgia said on American Anchor Baby, even the blacks knew that he was guilty. They just didn't care. Some of them didn't care. But I'm sure that she was no angel, of course. Like, he used to allegedly, like, DV her, domestic violence against her. And it sounded like he was an angry, violent person. She probably, too, was provocative to provoke something like that. And what type of person was she to get with him in the first place? And so, of course, I'm sure that they both did wrong. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, you got a person, the leopard don't change his spots or whatnot. A person that's being playing in the NFL or whatnot. Somebody that just don't committed a crime that horrific, just don't up and stop. Whether they don't been through the court system or jail, that's a sick individual. And over time and over factual evidence that we know about previous serial killers, it just doesn't happen that a person would go to do something that's horrific and how he did the two people or whatnot when he killed them as far as the tactics he used or whatnot. Don't nobody just do that and then just stop all of a sudden or whatnot. That's lets you know that the person who did that had to been used to using them type of weapons to do that type of torture to a body or whatnot. And OJ Simpson don't fit that narrative or whatnot, or even that character. And domestic violence is a long way away from the type of murder that happened to them two individuals.
Yeah. Yep.
You ain't talking about somebody that's going up and banging them with a weapon or hand weapon or whatnot. I'm trying to be sharp with my words as far as where I ain't see gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was an intimate meaning. When it's a knife like that, it takes shooting somebody is a lot easier than stabbing somebody, because when you stab somebody, it's intimate.
Yeah, it's personal.
Like you hands on close to close, and they blood can get on you. You gonna have blood on your hands. It takes a lot for a person to be able to do that.
Do you so you think if OJ had done it, he wouldn't have been able to stop? He would have done it to other people too?
That too, and the fact that how them people were killed, they wasn't just their necks slit like that. It was a technique that he used, allegedly, that the serial killer
slashed
used.
Up. Yeah, I mean, it could be a it could have been jealousy. I mean, I don't know what the motive supposedly was, but people who are jealous, you're blind with rage.
What I said, though? You hear what I said, though, as far as with the technique? OJ Simpson ain't never worked on no, and I'm going to get off the phone after this. OJ Simpson ain't never worked on no farm. You see what I'm saying? He ain't handy with no meat cleaver like that. We would have known this because he was an NFL player. Have you ever heard any scouting reports where they was talking about when we drafted OJ Simpson, we know he got strong upper body strength because he used to work on his Uncle Buck's farm down there in Salem, North Carolina. No, he wasn't working around knives to where he would be like no John Wick.
I don't know, man. So you seem to believe that he's innocent.
Well, I mean, I when I was a kid, now, yeah, I do. Now, when I was a kid, now, I agree. I was, but you got to understand, I wasn't number like 9. I did agree that, he didn't do it. And I was just going off of, he was black. But now that I don't get older, I'm just taking everything into consideration or whatnot and making my informed decision, logical informed decision.
All right, man.
Over my 37 years of living. But go ahead. I'll catch you later. And thank you for your time, Hake.
Of course. Thank you, Art in Ohio. Take care, man.
And we rolling with Trump. Yep.
Indeed we are. Take care.
Yep.
Bye. My favorite caller, Maze, from the sundown town of Dayton, Ohio. How you doing, Maze? What's up?
Hello, James.
Hey.
I wanted to talk to Mark because I have some questions for him.
Oh.
He always worried about women that look like him being raped and all these different things. But as he can look this up, tell him to look up the DJ Kid, 46 years old. He messed with 700 and some children. That didn't look like him. So I want to know what his feelings about that. But you see, by me knowing that, I don't look at you as being one of those kind of people. Because you got criminals on both sides. But he won't look at the side that here's the criminal, the things that they do. And he want to always look at what the media gives him to look at every day.
So this Jason DJ Kid Pope accused of accused of spreading HIV or something like that to like
he messed with 700 kids.
700 black kids.
Teenage girls.
That's interesting. He might be.
That's very interesting. I want Mark to give us an explanation. How he feel about.
I'll tell you what, Maze. He might be making up for all the black on white.
I'm not making up. You can look it up.
I'm not saying you. Hey, Maze. I wasn't saying you're making it up. I said he might be making up the. We are way behind in terms of interracial R word. Most of the time, the interracial R word is black on white, by far. So you found this case where this person did 700. He needs to do about 19,000 more to catch up to the black Because there's been
Really?
like 20. Yeah, because there's like 20,000 in 2008.
I'm explaining something to you.
In 2008, there were 20,000 black on white R words and 0 white on black R words. So maybe he's making up for lost
That's you going
time.
with the white on black thing. I'm saying crime. It's just like you got the crackhead and you got the opioid.
Yeah.
They get a needle and they get government funding. The one that was on crack didn't get nothing but jail time. So it don't upset me when I hear people like Mark.
I know, but
it's
that's
good
because
for him
it's
to let
different.
out his
It's different.
stupidity.
It's different times. You're talking about opioids versus crack.
Yes.
Right
How
now
many
we
people
have
you know go to jail? They got an EpiPen or whatever, bring them back to life.
Right
they don't go
now-
to jail. Maybe if they put them in jail, just like they did the crackhead.
Right now,
you stop doing it.
as we've been over before, crack was associated with out of control murders. Murders were like triple, double, triple, quadruple what they were in the cities today. There are like 1,000 murders in a city, whereas there's like 300 or 600 murders in a city today.
You don't get what I said, James.
And on top of that, we have a mama spirit culture where everybody wants to be nicey nice to the drug addicts. It has nothing to do with white versus black. And then
He's been in jail. The crackhead and the opioid.
Maybe
the people
so.
that doing the opioid, they should go to jail just like the crackhead did.
So do you
But
agree
the
with me that we
crackhead, when
should
it came
jail?
to the crack,
Do you agree with me
when
that
it
we
came
should
to
jail
that,
the
it was
homeless?
put into the community. It was brought into the community by who? We don't want to talk about the country and all that stuff.
Supposedly the CIA, but I don't know.
I don't know how it got there, but it was put there.
And
just
you
like when it comes
guys
to the
bought
guns,
it. Not you, but...
When it comes to the guns
And the
and
blacks
stuff,
bought it. Or you blame
and
the
it
blacks
comes to
for
the
buying
drugs and
it?
stuff?
Do you blame the blacks for buying it?
No. You talk about the pusher,
Do
but
you
not
blame
the
the
dealer.
blacks for buying and selling the crack and doing the crack?
Buying and selling it.
Buying, selling, and doing the
Do
crack.
you blame the ones that are taking the opioid?
Yes. Now,
Do you
answer
blame them or you blame yourself?
I blame them. I didn't
Or
take
you blame
opioids.
the people that are doing it or the community?
I blame the people doing it.
Well, thank you.
Do
See,
you
that's what
blame?
y'all
Do you
do.
blame the people doing the crack and buying and
Yes,
selling
I do. And the
Then how
ones that
come
drink
you?
and everything
Then how
else,
come you always
that's
bring up
their
it
fault,
was
but
brought
it's not a
in?
reflection on the whole community. It's just those people that you see doing it. But y'all would take the whole community and make it look like they're all doing it. It's just like when it
That's
comes
your
to
mind. That's your mind. That's your mind.
No, your man.
No,
when
it's
it comes
not.
to this,
You don't
when it
know
comes
my
to
mind.
the evening news, things that y'all do, we don't see it. You have to know somebody in the States to know what's going on.
That's because we're
things.
smart. We're not
When it
shameless.
comes-
We're not
You're supposed to be
shameless with
smart.
our.
You're right.
We're smart. We're not shameless with our
You're supposed to be under the
degeneracy.
table. Nobody's not supposed to know about it.
You people, not you, but your fellow blacks are so out of control and shameless with their degeneracy, smoking pot in public, stealing with no shame. You guys put your stuff out there.
What you talking about, James?
Not you, Maze, obviously.
No, I know you're not talking about me. I'm saying the people that you were talking about. They do not represent all of us.
I know.
They just represent the ones you seeing. And if you watch the
I
media
never
every day, it's just like what Jesse showed on the TV today with the lady that was whatever she was doing on the truck. They were showing a man stealing, doing the same thing in another state, the very same thing she was doing. But you can only pull it up with people of color. You see, you don't see. We supposed to ignore y'all crimes, not act like they don't happen.
Whatever.
Is that what we're supposed to do?
Nope,
But we don't
that's
blame you for it.
That's your
We blame
imagination.
the person that's doing it at that time.
That's your imagination.
Am
Whites
I supposed to hate you because I see somebody that look like you?
Whites are self-policing. We are self-policing.
That's your problem.
You guys,
You're self-policing and nobody's supposed to do nothing to you for your crimes that you do.
because we already
We're supposed
police
to do
it.
it and nothing's supposed to happen.
Because
You
we
just
already
fun
punish
and
our
nobody
we
never do
already
it.
punish our criminals.
That's
You
supposed to go.
defend your criminals. You act like they're victims.
I'm not defending the criminal.
Well, a lot of times you are.
Well, how? Explain that.
Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, stuff like that.
Trayvon Mike Brown was killed by what? I thought you were supposed to be
self-defense,
protecting, not killing people like that.
Self-defense.
You always want to bring that back, Black Lives Matter, and then you talking about riots.
Killing
when
is not always
games
wrong.
go on in different states, what do they do? Turn over cars and burn up stuff. What do you call that? A party?
Is Maze
or
loud?
is that a riot?
Press 2 if Maze is too loud.
I'm too loud?
No, it's just you're piercing my ears.
I'm
I got to wrap it up
But
in
as I'm
a
saying,
minute, but
y'all confused,
Maze.
and Mark is mad because he's scared of Alabama Black Snake on enter into his family, and he's not gonna like it instead of dealing with it. So that's what I want him to do, to look at some of his crimes, compare it. But I'm not going to hate you because if Mark would have committed a crime, I wouldn't look at you and think them and say, ooh, look at what these white men are doing, or this white man. Mark is the one that did it, and that's who I'm looking at because I have enough sense and enough brains to know that it's not the whole community that's doing it.
Whatever.
I don't look at it that way.
Maze, did you just say that Trayvon Martin and and Mike Brown should not have been killed in self-defense?
It was no. We don't know what kind of defense. It was the defense that y'all have.
It's self-defense.
Is it like what is the one that killed
Trayvon Martin?
the other white
Trayvon
guy?
Martin and Mike Brown. According to the evidence, Trayvon Martin and Mike Brown
We don't know the evidence that they
physically attacked George Zimmerman and Officer Darren Wilson. So they had to kill him in self-defense.
Those two people died. What did they have to do with the community? Nothing.
Oh, well, the community made why did the evil community make it their business then?
You had the one that killed Trayvon Martin. He committed crimes after he killed Trayvon Martin. But did you say anything? George Zimmerman?
What?
That's still a criminal.
No, he's
doing stuff.
Well, that's because he's Hispanic.
So that's all y'all care about.
He's Hispanic and he used to be a Democrat. He can't help being a criminal.
Well, Democrat or Republican or liberal or conservative.
I gotta run, Maze.
The same box.
It's been nice talking with you.
Trump before he was on.
Whatever. Trump is Trump is
a man
of
Ronald Reagan before he was a Republican.
Yeah.
So you get it confused. They two of the same.
Whatever.
But y'all stick together. But then when the
I gotta run.
Come, when the evening news comes, that's who helped you out. And then when you hear all of this stuff, like
the evening news is not the friend of white people.
In childbirth.
I gotta run.
What's wrong with that picture?
Maze, we're late. Take care.
Oh, I'm sorry that you're late. But anyway, do you like all white people?
I gotta run, Maze. We'll talk tomorrow.
I'll ask you a question. Do you like all CW people?
I gotta run. Take care.
Just the quick answer. That's all it takes.
No.
Oh, so you don't like all of them?
Bye.
So
Bye, Maze. You have a good day.
Yeah, you have a good one because you can't take it. Have a good one, James.
Bye. Guys, this has been the Hake Report. Joel Friday TV coming up next. Enjoy Soul Junk Sunday on a Monday. Ruby Doomsday. Adios, America. Bye. Jaime in Minnesota, I cannot get to you. Other callers.
Secret power lawlessness already at work. What lurks in the hearts and minds of man full circle. Feel your neck jerk, look around, feel it coming down. What was holding it back now begins to give ground. And the lawless one will be revealed. A sign and seal that the time has reached its fullness. Replete with peals of thunder, suddenly under restraint completely revealed. Why I wonder, you all know the deal. They've been asking for it for years, and now as it appears, till the Babylonian rush, its ugly head rears. The horns of the beast being raised up in the east, and they all pushing for it, from the greatest to the least. Any peace that they has now a powerful delusion. The thrill of violence and the sweetness of confusion. But they might believe the lie and wonder why. Because they refuse the truth and choose to die.
Don't refuse the truth and choose to die. It's Christian, guys. Ruby Doomsday by Soul Junk.
Down, no doubt. Snuff it all out. Snuff it all out. Let it rise. Christ will take it down, no doubt.
Shine like stars as the world blacks out. Hallelujah. Adios, America. Bye.